As a musician and songwriter, I've always been grounded in telling brief stories. The art of taking a snapshot of a moment and letting the audience make of it what they will is what great songs have traditionally been made of. When I sat down to write God Is Talking as a film, I took that approach. I wanted to capture the narrative of a lifetime of conversations that have taken place about God and religion, and most importantly, the varied approaches to that subject. This is a story that needed to be open and personal. So I thought a conversation between a therapist and someone who is young, developing, and willing to struggle between what he believes and what he is told. We've all come to that crossroad in our lives where we've been through the programming and given all the information, but we've yet to own the subject. This is a story about the process of owning the subject for yourself. What does the information that you've been given mean to you? These characters are written in sort of a lopsided way that they don't really offer much of an alternative to their viewpoint. And that's where I've rolled the dice a bit, because I'm assuming the audience will be setting their views about God and religion when they approach this film. The purpose of the story is not to get you to believe what the characters believe, it is to get you to listen, to think. And if you do that, I think the story's accomplished what I wanted it to. We frequently hear ourselves because it's impossible to get out of our own heads. But if we see things, anything, from someone else's perspective, it gives us the power to embrace understanding. There really wasn't a casting process for the film. I actually had an actor before I had a director or a screenplay written. It took 4 or 5 months to get a good, solid screenplay, and then we went to work with an actor. The lead actor, Mason, was recast 3 times, either due to scheduling conflicts or an incorrect chemistry when it came down to the depth of the character. The actor we settled on, Colin Fish, walked right in on day one as if he had been this character his whole life. There was no explaining what the character was about or what the character might be feeling. He just knew how to approach the character right off the bat. Having an amazing acting consultant like Dalton Hamilton, who has a ton of experience, just gave us this incredible reinforcement as we fought our way through some pretty intense script rehearsals. The director, Robert Bloom, whom I began working with on a few of my music videos during my last 2 MC Overlord releases, was a no-brainer for me. I knew the way he saw things through a lens. I knew he had an appreciation for the way I told stories, and we were really close friends, so that part just fell into place. He ended up writing the final draft of our screenplay, and then we were off to the races. God Is Talking comes from a saying I used to hear in church as a kid. Every time something enormously bad would happen, like a killer storm or some flood or a building was on fire or something, the pastor would reference that and say, God is talking to you, young people, and then tell us to clean up our acts. So for the first half of my life, I thought God was this really angry guy who opened up his wrath on us from time to time. But by the time I embraced religion and not the speaker, I began to understand at least what I felt I could own about the subject, as everyone eventually does. This just happens to be one person's journey about approaching that subject matter.